Okay. Okay, got it. Being live streamed.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Should we start?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our workshop on California State Universities.
Being live streamed.
Thank you for joining us. Should we start?
Yes.
We will have our speaker
Good morning,
everyone. Welcome to our workshop on California State Universities.
Oh, Maria, I think is your live stream on in the background, perhaps?
For joining us. Should we start? We will have our speaker everyone. Welcome to our workshop on California State Universities.
Oh, Maria, I think.
Okay.
Yes, there we go.
I'm sorry for these technical issues. We will start again. Thank you for joining us. We'll have our speaker make a presentation, and then we will have time to answer all your questions. Please write your questions on the Q&A section. Your questions, they are anonymous. We also have a chat where you can interact and send us your comments about your experience so far on Steps to College. The workshop today is in English, but feel free to ask questions in Spanish. We will also have a workshop on admissions in Spanish. And now, I am happy to present to this audience Carla Piacentini, Admissions and Outreach Counselor at California State University in Sacramento. Carla's bicultural upbringing in a Mexican-American household instilled in her a deep admiration for engaging across cultures and languages. Her background in bilingual education and community development had led her to promote alternative educational opportunities and for underrepresented youth at the local and global levels. She has been a part of California State University in Sacramento since 2017, working with both international and domestic students population, specifically related to admissions, program development, and international exchange. Carla holds an undergraduate degree in bilingual education and Spanish from California State University and completed a dual degree master's in international education management and public administration from the Middlebury Institute of International Studies in Monterrey. Carla, welcome, and I leave you the stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maria. Well, welcome everyone. We're so excited and happy that you're joining us here today. I'm joined also by my colleague. I'll let her introduce herself as well.
Thank you, Carla. Hello, hello. Hola, buenos dias. My name is Stephanie Reyes Alcala. I'm one of the admissions advisors here at Sacramento State. I also graduated from Sacramento State, so I'm an alumna, first generation college student. So I'm very happy to be here with you all today. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. So Stephanie's going to share our presentation here this morning. As Maria stated, please feel free to ask questions as they come up, and we're happy to answer them. We're going to be presenting on the California State University system as a whole, even though Stephanie and I both work at Sacramento State. We'll be talking about different types of programs, universities, student services, related programmings, financial aid, and of course, the application process to the CSU. So our agenda this morning, again, is going over the California college systems. There are two different types of public entities here in the state of California, the CSU system and the UC. There is a presentation also this morning for the UC as well. We'll speak to what the CSU can offer you and your families, the admission requirements, important dates, including facts and figures, and tips for success. So when you're ready to apply to the university, things that you're going to want to consider going forward. Okay. And so we're going to talk about how to choose a college. So there's a lot of different considerations that you with your family will want to consider. So first of all, the size. The CSU system, there are 23 campuses within the CSU system as a whole. And some are large and some are quite small. So it'll depend on what you're seeking. If you're wanting something on the larger scale, to have a larger university community versus something that might be a little bit on the smaller size. The location. I was born and raised here in Sacramento and attended Sacramento State because it was my local campus. There are a lot of benefits to going to the CSU within your local area. The admissions process might be a little bit smoother, so that's something to consider. The costs and financial aid. What might your financial aid package be coming into the university, and what can we offer you? Impaction versus non-impaction. Stephanie is going to talk a little bit further this morning about what this means. There are some campuses that are fully designated as impacted, meaning they're really popular, and so there are additional steps or a supplemental process that students need to pursue to be able to join the major that they're seeking. On-campus housing, there's so many incredible benefits of being able to live on campus. And so, maybe that's something you want to consider, having that full college experience of being able to go to school and live where you're going to school versus potentially commuting. Public versus private. I mean, these are considerations that you'll definitely want to take into account. Sometimes you can be offered a larger financial aid package or scholarship opportunities coming from a private school versus a public school. Different types of sports programs. If you're really into collegiate athletic sports, or interested in playing or being scouted to the CSU, that's definitely an option. What does your are you maybe a faith-based person? Do you have kind of a very strong religious background that you're looking to relate how you view your, personal religious feelings and wanting that incorporated into your university life as well? And then campus life. How important are those things to you to be able to really connect and feel community within your school?
Okay, beautiful. Those are all really great points, Carla. Thank you so much. As you can see here on the bottom of the right screen, there will be pictures of specific campuses. So as we're working throughout this presentation, you'll see what the campuses actually look like. So make sure you're paying attention to that. So we are indeed 23 strong. We are a diverse California State University system. We are affordable. We like to take pride in knowing that a lot of our students that are coming from California in itself come from unique and diverse backgrounds who are underrepresented, that have had educational backgrounds that are needing additional support. So we definitely try to keep our prices affordable. We really thrive on stating that we are a hands-on learning system. We focus on job placement. So we really want to make sure that our students are able to successfully move on after their educational journey with us, and find those dream career jobs that they were aspiring to when they first started their educational journey with us. We currently do serve over 400,000 students here at the CSU system across California. Okay. So where exactly are we located? We're located all over through California. So if you go up north to Humboldt, all the way down south to San Diego, we are there. We definitely try to stay located in the busier cities of California, just because, as you can see here down towards the south, we're going to have more universities because we have higher populations of students who live in these areas locally. Sacramento, somewhat in the middle, as well as San Jose and Sonoma. But what we like to mostly let students know about location and choosing the right CSU is, where do you envision yourself living? If you're planning on moving from San Diego up to Humboldt, do you want to spend the next 2 years if you're a transfer student, or 4 years if you're a first-time freshman? We really try to let the students know that although there are a lot of resources available by campus, the ocean is closer to Long Beach, the larger city areas by San Jose, rural areas by Humboldt. Each of these universities also have something unique to offer, whether it be the degrees that are offered there, or the resources in the area, we really want to make sure that students know that this part of your educational journey, to pay attention to the location because it does matter. Okay. And then of course, size matters as well. Are you someone who wants to be in a smaller campus versus a larger campus? Because as you can see here on this list, some of our smaller campuses like Channel Islands, Monterey Bay, Humboldt, they hold a smaller population versus the medium and the larger campuses such as San Jose, Northridge, and Fullerton. Do you thrive in a smaller classroom size, or do you thrive with in a classroom size where there are more students? Of course, too, with prices financially, the larger the school is, the more tuition rates may be per year. So that's also something very important to pay attention to. Okay.
I will also note from the last one is smaller institutions may have less program offerings as well. So the bigger the institution, because there are more students, there are more majors available to students. However, again, it's like Stephanie said, it's going to depend on what your goals are, where you envision yourself, and how that particular CSU can bring to realization what you're seeking. So the benefits of the CSU. We are a very hands-on university and practical university. So the biggest, I think, differentiation between the CSU system and the UCs are a little bit more research-based, scholarly based in that way, where the CSU we're really looking to transform students with the course material that they're taking, having that hands-on approach and applying those practical skills to jobs and careers quickly, that transition from graduation into career, into the career field. We have outstanding accessible faculty, the moderate size classroom. So like Stephanie said, again, it may depend a little bit on the size of the university, but Sacramento State, for example, our class ratio is 1 to 24. And depending on what your major is, you may even have less students per faculty. So in my example, my degree was Spanish, so it was about 1 to 10 or 1 to 12. But if you're seeking that kind of relationship with the staff and faculty at the CSU, you'll definitely get that here with our system. We have extensive academic and student support services. So they range from academic to non-academic support services with lots of different majors offered, depending on the region in California. And we'll talk about this a little bit further, the different types of majors that are accessible to students. Accessibility and again, diversity. We pride ourselves on being a really, really diverse system, that the CSU is reflective of the communities where these universities are.
Perfect. Thank you, Carla. So one of the main factors of going to college is trying to figure out how it is that you're going to afford the costs of going to college. So thankfully, the CSU does provide students with the opportunity of, receiving financial aid, whether it be grants, work study, scholarships, and loans. The main difference between whether it be grants, work study, and scholarships is that that's money that you don't necessarily have to pay back. When it comes to loans, that is something that you will have to pay back, whether it be with interest during the time that you are a current student or after you graduate. So definitely pay attention and link in with financial aid workshops, whether it be with us at Sacramento State or at San Diego, San Jose. Reach out to the financial aid offices of the choice of your school if you decide to go the CSU route, just so you can inform yourself as well as your family members. For those of you who are coming in as high school students, it's very important to make choices that are going to benefit you financially in the long run. To have these conversations with those of you, with those around you who are going to support you through this process as well. Okay, whether it be signing up for programs such as EOP as an equal opportunity program student. There's definitely a lot of resources and the affordability to be able to come to college, especially a CSU. So do not let the price of college scare you in any way. For example, here at Sacramento State, you might be looking at roughly about $7,000 or so, plus or minus, for 1 year. However, if you are a student who you do apply for the financial aid, it won't be as high. And then it really just depends. Are you living on campus? Are you living off of campus? Books, right? Of course, that's a cost. There's a difference between being able to wanting to purchase the books in the library versus actually renting them out. So there are definitely a lot of ways in which you can make college affordable, and so that you can get out of it without, having a lump sum of debt at the end. So just reach out to those financial aid offices for the school that you're planning to applying to, and then inform yourself. All right. Okay.
All right. What can you study at the CSU? There are hundreds of options that you can select from. So there's everything from architecture and aviation, transportation, for example. So CSU Maritime in the Vallejo Valley, they are one of the smaller CSUs, but offer degrees in transportation and engineering. Sacramento State's engineering and STEM programs are vast, in addition to the nursing program. So the CSUs offer a variety of different options. For example, Cal State LA have one of the most incredible forensic labs here in the United States. And so depending on what you're really seeking to study and make into a career, what you can envision yourself, having that dream job, focusing on the campus that may offer that major that most closely aligns to your goals. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we have a comment here in the chat box. Carla, did you want to check
Yes.
that out?
So the question here is, can you discuss accommodations for students with IEPs? Yes. So students under IEPs have the opportunity to connect with the student office of the Student
Services Facilities. Yes, it's a long word.
That is an application process that goes along simultaneously with the application to Sac State, but there are a lot of services that are available for students that need additional support, either physical, different types of support services for students with disabilities. But yes, we do have that option at the CSU and fully available to students that may need that additional support.
Thanks, Carla.
Mm-hmm. So life at the CSU, as Stephanie mentioned a little bit earlier, you can, once you come to college at the CSU, everything is there for you. So there's on-campus housing. If you want to get involved with a student club organization, if you're looking to hone in on your leadership skills a little bit more, there are those opportunities. So we have the Associated Student Government, which is basically student government. So similar, if you were in student government at your high school, it's a similar kind of process, just on a larger scale at the CSU. Study abroad programs. We really encourage students to take advantage of as many opportunities as they can, study abroad being one of them. I know it can be kind of frightening or a little bit scary for students that maybe are going from relocating even within the state and then to think about going and living abroad in a different country. However, there are lots of benefits to doing a study abroad. So each of these 23 CSUs have partnerships with schools around the world. And for example, if there's a student at Humboldt and the programs in the study abroad office, maybe there's a country that's not necessarily offered through Humboldt and the student wants to go to a totally different country that isn't offered, because they're part of the CSU, they can go through the CSU International Programs office that's located within the chancellor's office and select a program anywhere overseas.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Different types of clubs and student organizations. So depending on the size of the campus, there can be hundreds of student clubs and organizations, and students can start their own. There's lots of different campus job opportunities, including federal work study. Lots of sports and activities, which include intramurals. So say you still want to be affiliated to some sort of sport, but aren't quite cut out to be at that collegiate level, you can definitely go the intramural route. And there's lots of different student support programs, as we've mentioned. So we do have an additional question here. For Sac State University, incoming freshmen required to live on campus for the first year. They are not. That's not across the CSU, but for Sac State, we do not require our first-time students or transfer students to live on campus. Great question.
Perfect. Okay, so as Carla has already mentioned, we do have several resources on campus, whether it be a writing center, academic advising. That is definitely, when you're in high school, you have your high school counselors. When you come into the CSU system, you are going to have your academic advisors. They're going to be the ones that are going to help you pave out your educational journey when it comes to selecting the right courses. So whether you're a first-time freshman coming in and getting general advising because you're not quite sure what major you really want to get your degree in, fun fact, you can change your major at Sac State. However, we do advise that you pick something and you thrive with it, right? But there's that, and then there's reality. So definitely meet up with an academic advisor. We have career centers, tutoring centers, as Carla mentioned, study abroad programs, military, if you're a veteran, if you're coming in as a transfer student and you have veteran background, we have the veteran and military services, the disability and student services, as Carla had mentioned, and another one that's really important, the food pantry. A lot of students, whether you believe it or not, face food insecurities, and just letting them know that we have food readily available for them on campus, just to help, navigate the cost of coming to college. These services are there, and it really just comes down to asking, where can I get help for X, Y, and Z? And I promise you there will be someone on campus, whether it be here at Sac State with us or at another CSU, that can gear you in the right direction so that you can receive the services that you very much deserve as a student for the CSU.
So we'll jump into this question first. So we do have another one. By affordable, how much is the average tuition? So the average tuition, and this is encompassing all 23 CSUs, about $5,600 is the average tuition per year. So that doesn't necessarily include mandatory campus costs or cost of living on campus. That's excluded from tuition. Those are separate. But at Sac State, you are looking at about $7,600 per year for tuition only. But
Yes,
on
and
average,
that's for 2 semesters.
Exactly. On average, though, it's about $5,600. And again, that's encompassing the smaller campuses with the larger campuses.
Right. And that, of course, for the 2 semesters, the fall and the spring. However, if you do plan on adding in summer courses or winter intersession courses, then price with tuition goes up with that as well. So.
So the CSU competes in a variety of Division I and Division II, and NAIA, which is the National Association for Intercollegiate Athletics. Maritime falls under NAIA just because it's a smaller college. Division I, bigger schools compete in these high profile sports brackets. And so Sac State falls under one of those, in addition to Fresno and San Diego, Division II, San Marcos, Chico, and Cal Poly Pomona. But we do and encourage students to participate in sports, even just being, going to the games, whether they're football games, basketball, baseball, volleyball. It just kind of runs the spectrum. And so again, depending on the size of the school, sports may be larger. So the participation there may be, bigger or smaller. But we definitely encourage students to participate. Their entrance into the games is completely free as well. Being a student, no need to pay for that. So definitely take advantage of those opportunities. So living on campus. We did have that question about whether it was mandatory to live on campus. It is, for Sac State, it is not. Depending on the campus, it may be kind of an impacted application process as well. So a little bit on the competitive side, depending on the how many housing options are available to students. There's always an application process, and depending on, for first-time freshmen, it's usually they're applying in the spring for entrance into fall, being able to secure their room. Transfer students, graduate students are also eligible to live on the campus as well, but there are incredible benefits. It is convenient. So potentially not even the necessity of having a car, because there is no commute. So you're basically, living on campus, you're getting up and being able to walk to class or to any of the other services on campus. There are specialized cohorts or communities. So depending on what your major is or your interests are, you can live with like-minded or other students that are also pursuing the same types of fields. There's academic support. So, we have different types of peer and academic resource centers across the CSUs, but within housing, there are even specialized tutoring services just for students who live within the housing complex. So that's pretty special. There's less to worry about. Obviously, there's no need to pay for utilities. So internet, water, garbage, all of that is taken care of. Whereas if you were living, in an apartment complex or in a house with other students, you would have to consider all of those things. And the social component, you're building community with a lot of different people from different backgrounds. If you are like myself, maybe an only child, and you've always wanted to, share a room with somebody, there's definitely that option. Depending on the campus, there are other options to have a single housing unit. Or being able to live in these kind of global village or village-like communities that are cohorted. So potentially it's 2 students or it's 4 students with a shared communal space. And so there's lots of different options across the CSUs when it comes to living on campus. We do have, we have 2 more questions here. Are the study abroad programs still happening due to the pandemic in person, or is it virtually? We are moving back to being able to send students abroad in person. So there were definitely some adjustments across the CSU. It varied depending on the capacity of the program at that university. And so Sac State has now resumed back to both receiving students and sending students abroad. And I think that's true across the CSU system, in addition to the international programs offered by the Chancellor's Office as well. We would have to find out, unless Stephanie, do you know on the top of your head what any of the CSUs that require students to live on campus?
I'm not sure. We'll be linking you with information from our admissions office, and you're always more than welcome to send us an email or give us a call. But you can just CSU housing, very easy to find, but we're very happy to help you out. I don't remember all the schools.
Okay. Thank you for those questions.
Yeah. Okay. So now that you have some background information about what the CSUs are about, what resources we have to offer, what exactly does it take to get in? So if you are a first-time freshman, meaning you are graduating from high school, and then the following semester you are planning on attending a CSU, we do ask that in order for you to be considered for admissions, that you have graduated from high school, or you will be, or the equivalent, right? Because we have some students who have taken a different route. Complete the 15-unit comprehensive A through G course requirement pattern. So if you are here in California, you will definitely want to link in with your counselors to make sure that you are on that A through G course pathway. When we mean year, we mean by 15 years each year. So if you're at a semester school, we ask that you take 2 semesters to qualify for 1 year. If you are at a quarter-based school, we ask that you have 4 semesters of that class to qualify for 1 year. So we have English, math, social science, history. There are 15 years A through G pattern. Please speak to a counselor at your school. If you need to reach out beyond your counselor at your school, you can definitely send us a message and say, hey, I'm looking to see where I'm at. We can look over transcripts and help you out from that point on. And then of course, having an admissions GPA index that basically says you have the GPA to come into one of our CSU schools. Every school is going to require a different GPA. It really just depends on that impaction, whether a school is really impacted and you need to have a higher GPA or lower impaction. As far as the SATs and the ACTs go, we did not require them last year. However, this year, there is still some things in the works where we might not be requiring them once again. But of course, do log into, the specific websites and follow up and call into the admissions office of your choice to make sure that that is indeed something that is no longer going to be needed. Okay. All right. And of course, A through G requirements, like I had mentioned before, the social science 2 years, English 4 years, math 3, lab science 2, language other than English 2 years, and then the electives, and then let me see the VPA. Could you remind me what that is, Carla? Not sure. Okay. Yeah, visual performing arts. There we go. It just popped up in my head, VPA. I'm used to seeing it spelled out. But yes, visual performing arts. So you definitely want to make sure that while you're in high school, that you're covering these subjects, making sure that, like I said, the years, semesters 2, quarters 4, semesters for a year, okay? And then, of course, making sure that you're passing these classes with a C- or higher, okay? This list right here on the bottom, A through G course list, it allows you to see which courses count as college ready courses so that you can use them towards these years, specifically by your school. Okay. And then, of course, like we had mentioned before, like I mentioned, the qualifying admissions GPA index. So if you are a California local high school graduate, meaning that you're in the area, let's say for Sacramento, for example, we ask that you provide us with a 2.5 GPA or higher on your admissions application. If you are a non-local high school, so say you're wanting to come to Sacramento State, but you live in Bakersfield or you live all the way in San Jose, out further away, we ask that you have a 2.75 minimum GPA. And then, of course, if you're a non-local California high school graduate, that you have a 3.0 or above. All righty. So one more step beyond this is that any California student who doesn't necessarily meet that GPA requirement, we do go based off of a multi-factor admissions criteria, which we look at other things beyond the GPA. So say you're on the cusp of what you're required to have from these 3 or from the 2 if you're California, we're looking at your household income. We're looking if you're a first generation college student, if you have work experience, let's say that, you had to work during the pandemic because you had to help your family financially and you didn't quite make that GPA. We're going to look at these additional factors. Did you participate in any college advocacy programs? Were you involved in extracurricular leadership programs on your school campus? We're looking at this to see, hey, although the grades are important and the GPA is important as well, what else does the student have to offer beyond just the grades and the GPA? Because sometimes life happens and we want to see beyond that, okay? So don't get discouraged, apply. All right.
Thank you, Stephanie. So those were the requirements for first-time freshmen, and now these are the transfer requirements to the CSU if you decide to attend a local community college within the state first. So the requirements are that you complete at least 60 semester or 90 quarter transferable units. And so there are lots of courses that are offered at the community college that students can take, but sometimes they're not transferable. So they have to fall within this criteria of being a transferable course. That also includes what we refer to as the Golden 4. So all of the CSUs adhere to the Golden 4 with completion of the units. So A1 is an oral communications course. So something like a public speaking or group discussion, sometimes even a debate course. A2 is typically your most introductory English writing course. So it's your first kind of exposure to English writing at the college level. and how to compose essays for college. The A3 is a critical thinking course. So sometimes this can be philosophy or logic based, or it can be an extension of that A2. So it goes further into critical reading, writing, and thinking. And then the B4 is a college level math course with intermediate algebra as a prerequisite. So it can either be math specific, sometimes it can be statistics specific, or potentially maybe a business mathematics related course. So this is what is needed for the basic criteria for transfer, in addition to a qualifying GPA, which is a 2.0. However, some impacted majors may require a higher GPA. And of course, being in good standing, so you can't be on academic probation or have been academically withdrawn from your community college.
Okay. And I think we're running short on time. So with that being said, what do we have left? We have a lot of questions and a little bit of time. So do we want to speed through all the way towards the impaction, Carla? And
let's get to ADT really quick so we can move to the next page. I'll speak quickly about the ADT. So something that's pretty unique and special is the associate's degree for transfer. So between the community colleges and the CSUs and UC systems, we've created this system where student can complete an associate's degree for transfers that meets all of their transferable unit requirement, Golden 4, and prerequisite requirements for their particular major, so that they can come into the CSU system and have 2 years and graduate. So on average, students that start at the community college save about anywhere between $25,000 to $30,000 by going the route of the community college, and even more so if they're completing an ADT, because they're essentially able to jump right in and complete the rest of their coursework in 2 years.
Perfect. Love it. Okay, so I'm briefly going to talk about impaction. Impaction is basically stating that there are more students wanting to come into this specific school or this specific degree than there are of resources available. So let's say, for example, there are 100 students who want to come into this school, but we only have seats for 50. We are going to take the top scorers, meaning your GPA, what you have to offer for those 50, and the other 50 will unfortunately have to apply somewhere else, okay? So because of that, we have 7 specific campuses that are known as the Super 7 that are impacted all around. So it is going to be much more challenging, not impossible, to get into Fresno State, Long Beach, LA, San Diego State, San Jose State, because there is such a high population of students who are either living in this area or because this specific school, such as aerospace engineering at Cal Poly, they want to go into that school because they want to become an aerospace engineer. So just make sure that you look at what schools are impacted, which majors are impacted, and then it really just comes down to asking, hey, is your school impacted? Is this major impacted? And how to get to us and how to reach out to us. Did we want to talk about the non-impacted? Basically, I mentioned it. There are some that are impacted, and then the smaller school sizes, they might not be as impacted. Did you want to add anything, Carla?
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Application deadlines. So if you are a first-time freshman, our application this year opens on October 1st of 2022. Transfer students, typically for the freshmen, it might go down to November, a little bit past December. We're still not sure. So just remember October 1st, and then transfer students, your application opens August 1st, and it typically closes around the 30th. So you have just about 1 month to apply. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And then just make sure that you're connected on campus, right? Making sure you're reaching out to those admissions advisors, which are ourselves, making sure you're doing research about the campus that you want to attend to. I think this was your slide, Carla, but hey, get connected. You want to add anything else?
Yeah,
definitely. We have a little bit of time for questions.
Definitely connecting to, connect with your schools, whether it's emailing them directly. Sac State, for example, we offer virtual advising. We try and meet you wherever you're at, and all of the CSUs will do the same. Connect with them through their social medias, whether it's their Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram accounts. We are very active. and, follow the schools that your dream schools, your local schools, community colleges that are really well connected to the CSU within the same community. Do your homework right now. There's never a time that's too late to be able to connect. Visit the campus.
Yes.
Once you're on campus, you might get a rush of that feeling of whether you can see yourself there, or maybe it's on a different campus. And so definitely take those college tours when you can, either during breaks, during a spring break, a summer break, a winter break. Try and fit it in and see where you can envision yourself within the CSU system.
Right. Okay. So this is basically the point where we end the presentation, and we just want to invite you to explore the CSUs and the many ways that we have to offer, whether it's in person, online. Once again, my name is Stephanie Reyes Alcala. I'm one of the admissions advisors here at Sacramento State. And this is our information for our school. We do invite you to join our contact list by scanning the QR code. And then just putting in your information if you're interested in receiving more about our school. And then Carla, if you wanted to go ahead and do your outro.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for your time today, your questions. I know it ends at 9:50, but if you wanted to just stick around for a couple more minutes and ask any additional questions, you can email admissions@csus.edu for specific admissions requirements and information regarding our university, but definitely connect with any and all of the CSUs that you're interested in. And, we'd be more than happy to welcome you and have you be one of almost, 500,000 alumni, enrolled in alumni students here within our system. So thank you again. Best of luck, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you need anything.
Perfect. Thank you. In the meantime, I'm not sure if we're still live. I see that we still have our.
We are still live. I'll just make maybe 1 minute to see if there's any additional questions.
Okay. I'm looking through our questions here, and I think we've got through all of them. Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much for having us. It's been wonderful. This is my first year participating with Steps to College, and very excited and grateful to be able to be a part of, hopefully, a student and their family's journey into the CSU system, or just higher education in general. We're really excited to be here.
Yes. Wonderful. For me, it was also very, very interested and inviting. When I hear all that, I just want to go all over again.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And students, please, this is a great channel. Send all your questions, contact our wonderful presentators, and okay, stay on tune with studying something that you really want to.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. And now we have a couple of minutes indeed to go for the next workshop. So stay tuned, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Hasta luego. Bye.